Hello everybody, welcome to my first ever video. My name is Challenge Saga. Today I'm going to show you how to have a little fun and creative, because I know sometimes Battle Royale could get boring, or you might be like me and you realize you completely suck at Battle Royale, so you want to be good at something and maybe creative is your calling. I personally like to play around a lot in creative. I create these fun little maps that me and my friends play around in, so today I'm going to show you one of them, which is the PTP map, which, as I mentioned, I hope I mentioned it. I don't know, I forgot, but it stands for Protect the President, and I'm going to show you how to make your own PTP maps. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. So hello, this is my little PTP map. As promised, I'm showing you it right now. So as you can see, there's a lot going on here. I got these cool little structures everywhere, and this is what my friends and I are playing. So if you can't see, there's a lot going on here. I'm going to show you the pieces. This is actually my team settings. This will become important when I show you how to create your own map. But yeah, I have spawn pads set up. This is where my president's going to spawn. Secret Service spawns somewhere here, one spawn pad, two spawn pad, which is in the bathroom, and the assassins actually don't spawn in this area. If I actually open my map and I zoom in, there's spawn pads in Greentown, which is one of the places they spawn, and the other location is the prison. So these are the two places where my assassins spawn. And I just realized I did not explain to you how this game mode works. So let's get right into that. So PTP is a really fun and simple map that we usually have a lot of fun with. So essentially it's just like the name sounds. You're trying to protect the president. Well, at least the Secret Service is. So basically what's happening is the Secret Service, there's going to be, usually we play 6 people. That's how many people are in our group. So there's usually 2 Secret Service and 1 president. There always needs to be 1 president only. And then the rest are assassins, so 3 assassins. And basically, the assassins are trying to kill the president, the Secret Service is trying to protect the president, and the president is just, well, trying to survive, right? So, this is a map we play in. It's quite big. There's a lot of hiding spots here for the president. Usually, there's a lot of build wars that happen, the Secret Service versus the assassins, while the president's just trying his or her hardest to stay alive. So, without further ado, let me show you how to create your own, actually, so you can have fun with it with your friends. So, I don't want to play around with the settings in this one, so I'm going to create a new island that we can play around in, and I'll see you there. Alright, so this is our new island. It's very, very empty, as you can see, but this is where we're going to be playing around and stuff. So let's go ahead and hit the ground, and let's begin. So, first of all, we got to get through the mechanics, right? So here, I just want to shoot a quick disclaimer. I'm not creating a full-out map here. I'm just showing you how to, get through the spawn pads, how to get the game set up so that you can, create a nicer map, but you know how the game itself works, if you know what I mean. So, first let's get into creating our spawn pads. So, we need to create spawn sites, and like I said, I'm not going to create a full-out map here, so I'm just going to create these quick little bases. Let's just say that's where the president's going to spawn. This is one Secret Service. We can have our second Secret Service, and let's just say the assassins are gonna spawn here. Okay, so let's just say in this game mode we're gonna have, wow, okay, that is very, yikes. Okay, so we have 2 assassins, 1 president, and 2 Secret Service. You know what, to balance it, let's go ahead and make that 3 assassins, right? It doesn't really matter, but I like to look a little nice. Okay, so, got a wall right there too. Sorry. Okay, so, now that we have the 3 sites, obviously no one's gonna spawn here because we don't have spawn pads, which is what we need to put in. So, we're gonna open our inventory. As you can see, I'm using a console controller, so I gotta click that up arrow, but whatever your inventory setting is, you click on that. Scroll right to devices, and then we're going to scroll down until we find this, the player spot. Go ahead and equip that, and then we're just gonna, pop them in wherever we want them. So there, 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 and great, we ran out of spawn pads. Awesome. Alright, so now that we have our spawn pads set up, it's literally as simple as change the settings. So first, let's focus on the president. So this is going to be the president spawn pad. And obviously we need to set the settings to it, right? So we want only the president to spawn here. We don't want any assassins spawning here. We don't want any secret service spawning here. I jumped the gun right there. But we're going to click on that customize player spawn. And typically when you open, you're going to start off in basic options. You want to scroll to advanced options, or all options, sorry. And work here. So enable during phase, we're going to set it to all. We don't really have to worry about that. Unless you want a pre-game lobby. The pre-game lobby would basically be where, if you're interested in that, that's where your players would spawn initially before you actually start the game. So that would be where we are right now. So when we spawn in this island, we would have spawned in that pre-game lobby if we created it, right? And to create those spawn pads, we do pre-game only. But we're not creating a pre-game lobby or anything, so we don't have to worry about that. So just enable during all. Yeah, and just a quick tutorial of this, by the way, because actually when I first started, I didn't know how spawn pads work. It's a lot more complicated than you'd think, okay? So don't judge me if you're already doing that. But I figure if any of you are struggling with it too, I might as well help you out there. So spawn pads, what does the enabled mean, right? So starting off with none, that means it's just not enabled, right? It's deactivated. No one can spawn there until it receives a signal from a channel. So if you want to play around with channels and send a signal to, say, channel 1, then you could say enable when receiving from channel 1. You would set this to none, so that way it's disabled until it's enabled when receiving a signal from channel 1. Hopefully that makes sense. All is just, it's always active during pregame and gameplay. Pregame, as I mentioned, is if you're creating that pregame lobby, that's where your players would spawn initially. So if you've ever played a featured map or anybody else's map, you'll notice you don't spawn in the map itself, you spawn in this little room. They put pre-game only spawn pads, so it only works during that time when you enter the map. And then gameplay only works the other way. It's when you start the game is when they're enabled. When you actually enter the island, you don't actually spawn on those pads. So yeah, for the sake of this, we're just going to keep it at all. Just a little tutorial on how that works. Hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, if you didn't enjoy it, guess that's too bad because it's already in the video. But yeah, so we have that. Now we need to put the president into a team. Let's put him or her into team 1. Now keep in mind that we're actually going to put the president and the Secret Service in different teams. Yeah, I know that sounds a little wonky because they're supposed to be on the same team, but the mechanics don't work that way. You can't do that. So what we're going to have to do is put the president and the Secret Service on separate teams. So don't be panicked if when the president wins, it says draw instead of winner. That's because 2 teams technically won. So yeah, that's just another quick disclaimer for you. Priority group, we don't have to worry about that. Island start, yes, because this is not a pregame lobby or anything. Visible during game, no. I like to keep my spawn pads invisible so that they don't actually see them. It looks a little nasty to me. Enable when receiving from, we don't have to worry about any of these. That's if we're working with channels. Once again, that's if the spawn pad is enabled during none. And that's it. And that's the president spawn pad right there. And literally all we have to do is do the same exact thing in every single other spawn pad, except we're going to change that team. So the team for this one is the Secret Service. We're going to change it to team 2. But everything else literally stays the same. Alright, and we're going to go to here, change it to team 2. And then we don't want it visible during game, right? And we go all the way to the assassin. I don't know why it does that. It just sends me flying. But we go to the spawn pads. Same exact thing. I know it's getting a little repetitive. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to show you the full process. Okay, go to team 3. Use island start, yes, no. And finally, last one. 3. Okay, so now that we have all the spawn pads set to the settings we want, that's it. We got the spawn pads down. But we're not quite done yet. We need to actually establish settings, right? We want the president to have different settings than the Secret Service and the assassins. Now, if you want all of them to have the same loot, well, you still would need to do this next step. But I like to keep the Secret Service, all their loot different. right? But once again, it's up to you. This is totally flexible. I'm just showing you how I made my game. You could make the edits. It's super easy to make the edits once you learn the mechanics of the game. Okay, so team settings. So I know in that other map you saw those team setting things. They're not visible during gameplay, so you don't have to worry about hiding them or anything. But what you want to do is go back to your inventory. I keep jumping the gun. I'm so sorry. But open that inventory again, and you're going to scroll to this team settings and inventory trap. Equip that, and since we have 3 teams, let's just go ahead and equip 3 of these. Hit back, and it should be in our inventory. You click that build icon, and there it is. So let's set these down 1, 2, 3. So 3 teams, right? Okay. So these are going to be team settings stuff is how you determine, you know, how the teams work. It's better if I just show you. So let's go to this first one. Team name, this is team 1, so we're going to just title it President. Okay. So this is the President's team, team 1. And yeah, we've now identified this is going to be the President's settings. Let's change the color to gold because I like to get fancy. And yeah, let's get started. So default class identifier, we're not going to worry about that. Grant items on respawn, no. So we only want the President to spawn once, right? So we're not really going to worry about any respawns. Grant condition, none of these matter because they're just, doesn't matter. Actually, let's equip that first item. Visible during game, no, right? Because we want it invisible. If you really want people to see it, you could set it to yes, pretty obvious. Grand mode weapons. Now, I don't like to give my President weapons. That just, I feel like, defeats the purpose. I feel like the Secret Service should be protecting them. So I would highly recommend not giving your President any weapons, but that's totally up to you. Starting health, I like to just give my President the same amount of health as everybody else. Max health, same. Starting shields, I do like to give my President a bit more protection since they don't have weapons. That way they're not super vulnerable. They have time to run away if an assassin finds them. Max shields and movement multiply. If you want to make them faster, that's totally up to you. Or slower. Instant reload, none of this matters because I don't give them weapons. Infinite resources, I don't give them infinite resources. Because I don't want them building. I want the Secret Service to do everything for them. My goal is to make the President completely useless, right? No power. I want the Secret Service to have to protect them. So the Secret Service is going to do all the work. The President's literally just this precious, fragile figure. Eliminated player items, doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Eliminated players' resources, because once they die, they're dead, right? So that doesn't matter. Depends. Now, fall damage, gravity, jump, fatigue, player fly. Player fly I would not recommend turning on. That just makes it, just don't turn that on. But these 3, that's totally up to you. If you want to make your President a little bit less vulnerable or more vulnerable, you can turn fall damage off or on, and the same applies for gravity and jump fatigue. Go down, player names and locations, I don't touch that, but I do show the player health indicator to anybody. It's just a cool little thing. Also display health for all players. It just makes them like a final boss kind of thing, like everybody can see their health, how much they're at, stuff like that. Glide redeploy, I like to make my President have a bit of power, so I like to allow them to glide away if they're found. Down but not out, doesn't matter. Allow building, no. I don't like my President to be able to build. Respawn time, there's no respawn time. Allow respawning if spawn pads are found. We don't need to touch any of these. Spawn limit we want to touch, of course, we want to make that 1. After last spawn, go to, I'll just set that to spectator in case. And max initial team size, we only want 1 President, so 1. Initial team size ratio, don't have to worry about that. And yeah, that's it. Now the one last thing we need to do is establish how they're going to win the game. So we scroll all the way down. Scroll all the way down to win on timeout. So win on timeout is what we want to set to yes. I set my games to 5 minutes. So in that other map I showed you previously, the President has to survive for 5 minutes to win the game. So if they stay alive for 5 minutes, then Secret Service and the President wins. If they get killed, assassins win. Okay, allow friendly fire and random. So none of these are really that important. When team members eliminated, transmit on is a super important one. We're going to set that to channel 1. And I'll show you why in a minute, but just keep that in mind. And hit OK. And that's it. We got the President. Now we want to give the President the loot, right? We're not going to give him or her weapons. We want to give a consumable in this case. And I'll tell you why. I like to make it so that the president can be seen on the map. If the president can't be seen, it can turn into a game of hide and seek, and 5 minutes is just too little time to find the president if your map is that big. It just makes the president way too powerful. I like to add the flag, because that makes the president, their location visible. You can't see exactly where they're hiding, but you can see the general location they're hiding in. So I like to add the flag in there. You could add the jewel if you want to, but the jewel actually slows you down, slows the president down, so I don't usually add that. The flag, you can see where they are, you can go to a general location and try to find them there, you can see them running, so stuff like that. Now there is actually one more thing I gotta do, so I'm gonna scroll down. I forgot to edit something. So if you scroll down, there's a setting called... I always lose these kind of stuff. Allow item drop and allow item pickup. I turn these off. I do not want the president to be able to pick up weapons. I do not want the president to be able to drop that flag. Because if they drop the flag, you can't see where they are anymore, right? They just duped you. So turn those off so that they literally have to stick with the flag and they can't pick up anything else. Alright, so that's the president settings. Now team 2. Team 2, we want it to be Secret Service. So Secret Service. Right? And Secret Service is going to be on Team 2. I like to make my color red-orange. Don't have to worry about that. Grant items on respawn, yes, because our Secret Service is going to respawn, right? So the goal of the Secret Service is to protect the president, but when they die, I like to allow them to respawn so they can keep protecting the president, right? We want only the president's death to end the game. We don't want the Secret Service to be completely out. But you can change that if you like it better if the Secret Service is completely out and it's only the president after that. Depends on your preference. But yeah, grant condition always, on grant behavior clear all, equip granted item, I really don't use that. Visible during game, no, yes, I like to grant ammo with weapons. I like to give my Secret Service the same amount of health as everybody. I do give them a bit more shield because typically there's less Secret Service than Assassins, so I give them like 50% shield. And everything else usually is the same. Instant reload I don't touch. Infinite ammo I do like to give both the Secret Service and the Assassins. It just makes it better so that I don't have to put ammo boxes. A bit of laziness on my part, but it just saves a lot of time, and it's easier in gameplay. Like, you don't want them running out of ammo, and then they have to kill themselves to come back to life and have their ammo back, you know? So, yeah, we're gonna turn on infinite ammo. Infinite resources, I turn it on. Once again, you don't want them mining your map, right? So, I give them infinite resources so you can have build battles and all that. Up to you though if you want to turn these two off. I just like to turn these off, or on, infinite ammo especially, because I don't want them having to go out and, you know, have to get themselves killed so that they can respawn and have their ammo back, stuff like that, you know? So yeah, eliminated player items, I put it on keep, and that's very important. You do not want Assassins to have access to Secret Service loot, because I like to give my Secret Service better loot since they're just supposed to be more powerful, right? Eliminated players' resources, I like to delete, or actually it doesn't matter because they're infinite resources for everybody. Fall damage, gravity, jump fatigue, I don't usually play with those. I don't play with these either. Ladder redeploy I turn on. Down but not out, you could turn that on if you want, but I keep it off. Allow building, well, it's already set to allow building, so you don't have to worry about that. Respawn time. Respawn time is the funky one. I set that to 10 seconds. Depends on how long you want to give them time. Let's see, spawn limit to infinite. You don't want them, when they are dead, you don't want them completely out, right? We don't have to worry about that because they're going to be constantly respawning. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. Initial team size ratio depends on what you want your ratios to be. If you know definitively how many people are playing your map, you can do the max initial team size. But especially if you're going public with your map, or you just don't know how many people are going to be playing your map in a given day, I would use the initial team size ratio. So what this does is it based on the ratio you give it. So I'm going to set it to 1 and Assassins, I'm going to put the 2. That way for every Secret Service agent, there's 2 Assassins. So you can set your team size ratio to wherever you want. I would recommend doing that, especially if your map is going public. That way you don't have to try to predict how many people are going to be playing your map. So initial team size ratio, I like to keep 1 to 2. If you want them equal, you can go to your team settings and click... not team settings, sorry. I'll show you that later. But initial team size ratio, I'm going to put it at 1. None of these matter. No, we're going to just leave those alone. What we're worried about now, if we scroll down, allow item pickup is no. I do not want them picking up other items. Harvest multiplier, all these are not important. What's important is the win on timeout. We want them to also win on timeout. Because if they protect the president and time runs out, we don't want them losing because they did their job, right? So when time runs out, they win too. And yeah, that's all we have to worry about. So once you're done with that, you press OK, and you got your Secret Service. Now we're gonna give them the weapons. So the weapons, you can give them whatever you want. I typically like to give my Secret Service purple loot, so I give them a scar. What else do I give them? Heavy. I give them a heavy sniper. And then I also like to give them a blue tack. I don't like to give them all purple loot because that could be a little OP. And yeah, that's it. I drop this loot, and your team settings thing should pick up the weapons. And when they spawn, they'll be automatically equipped with these weapons. So you don't have to play with class and all that. I know sometimes you might think, oh, I have to set a class setting to something so that these certain class will get those guns. That's a little complicated for this game mode. All you gotta do is drop it into the team settings thing. I know on my other map, if you paid attention, these team setting things didn't have weapons in them. That's because that was the first time I ever created a PTP map, so I was just learning how to create one. It was very, very time consuming. I had to actually create the classes and everything. The class itself weren't time consuming, sorry, it was just figuring out how the PTP map worked. But yeah, I didn't know any better at the time, so I created all these classes, but now I know better, so you don't have to do that. Team 3, we want that to be assassins, right? So assassins, that's gonna be team 3. Oh, I forgot, it does that. Okay, let's not. I'm gonna just do the killers. Cool. So killers, that's our new team name, because they blurb out assassins. That sucks. Okay, so team color, I'm gonna set that to sky blue, because I like blue. Default class identifier doesn't matter. Grant items on respawn, yes. Grant condition always, on grant behavior clear all, blah, blah, blah. This is like the same thing as your Secret Service, right? It's literally the same exact settings, except starting shield, I don't like to give my assassins any shield. Just makes it a little balanced. Infinite ammo, yes, and infinite resources, yes. Limited player items. I'm gonna keep those. Limited player resources doesn't matter. I don't give my assassins any special powers. Down but not out now. Allow building, yes. Doesn't matter though, but you know, why not? Respawn time 10 seconds. I like to give my assassins the same amount of time as my Secret Service. Allow respawn. This doesn't matter either. Spawn limit infinite. We want the assassins to keep respawning. We don't want them killed off. Max initial team size and ratio. So like I said, 1-to-2 ratio. That's that. And other than that, I think that's it. Now what we want to do is establish how they win, right? So we're going to scroll all the way down. Win on timeout is a no. They do not win on timeout. That should be obvious why, I hope. But if we scroll down, what we want to mess with is this end round when receiving from. So if you remember, if we go all the way back to this president team settings, you can go to that star icon, by the way, to see which options you modified. We scroll down, we establish that when the president dies, it transmits a signal on channel 1. Now I promise you I'll explain why we did that, and now I'm going to. So what essentially we're going to do, and this is the cool part, is when the president dies, there's going to be a signal transmit on channel 1, and basically that other pad, the team settings pad, is going to pick up that signal and say, hey, we just received a signal from channel 1, looks like we get to end the game now, right? And this setting basically says, wait, where is it? Okay, so now this says is when this pad is receiving a signal from the specified channel, in this case channel 1, if you can read down there, it says when the signal is received, whichever team this pad is affiliated with wins, right? So what we're doing is when the assassins, when they kill the president, a signal is going to be sent on channel 1, this pad is going to pick that up and end the round, giving the assassins a dub. So yeah, that's how the assassins are going to ultimately win the game. And that's all for the settings, honestly, guys. That's literally all you have to do. Now that we have all the team settings established, what we want to do now is drop the loot. I like to give my assassins all blue loot, so I give them an AR, attack, I like to throw in a little sniper for them. I put my hunting rifle in there. Like to give them a little rapid fire, not a rapid fire, sorry, just a normal sub. And then finally I give them just a little pistol. They never typically use the pistol. I just put it there in case we have any pistol users, but typically there's usually not much, especially if they have a submachine gun. But yeah, so that's it. You now have all 3 settings established. It should be super easy now. This is it. This is all you need. Now all you gotta do is create your lovely map. And yeah, now we're not quite done yet, right? We want to double check to make sure our island settings are right to suit this game. So we want to make sure there's a time limit and everything. So we're going to click on the menu, go to My Island, and check these settings. So voice chat, I like to keep them on all. Team size is dynamic, right? We want the spawn pads or the devices to decide how many people are going to be per team. Default class identifier, we don't have to worry about. Spawn limit infinite. Of course, we have the team setting of the president to override that. Yeah, all this is pretty self-explanatory. Time limit. This is where you can play around with the time limit. You can give whatever time limit you want. I give 5 minutes. Up to you what you want to do. Win condition. None of these really. I don't usually play with any of these, but I'm just double checking to make sure there's nothing wrong. Okay. Yeah, if you want to give them friendly fire, by the way, you can do that there too. But yeah, time of day, these are just, just how your island looks, stuff like that. Infinite ammo I turn on. The present one is gonna override that. You could change the maximum building resources too, but they're on infinite, so it doesn't matter. Let's see. Now this is where, if you don't want them to be able to break your map, you can set environment damage to off. That's what I usually do. Yeah, all. Sorry, I don't know. Enemy and self-builds is what I typically put structure damage. Weapon destruction, 100. So all these typically should stay the same. Allow item drop. I turn these off too. I don't want them to be able to pick up anything. Let's just keep that at 10 in case things go haywire. And if you want to give them immunity time, you could do that here too. But I don't do that. Because why? And yeah. So that's all you gotta do here. Then we go to UI. You still gotta do stuff here. Only one more thing you really gotta do. You just scroll down to map screen display and go to overview map so they can open that map. And that's it. You can add custom victory calls like nice, and you can put oof over there, right? So just you could play around with that if you want, but that's it. I mean, that's literally all you gotta do. If you want to add some cool and funky stuff, you can also add HUD devices. So sometimes I like to do that. Might as well show you guys how to do that. Just a little bonus for you guys, right? So if we go to this creative place, go to devices, which we're already in, and I'm having trouble finding. There it is, HUD message device. You can put that down somewhere here. I'm not going to do it for all of them, but I typically like to, just give them a message. Hey, you are the president. That way they know, right? Message recipient, let's just say triggering player, right? Time from round start. Actually, hang on. Let's set it to team 1, right? Because this is just way easier. I was gonna make it so that when the player spawns, they transmit on a specific channel, which sends a signal to this device, and let's just not complicate it. The message recipient is going to be team 1. Time from round start, let's make it instant, right? We want it to just right there. Display time, let's just put it at 5 seconds. You could change this to be super dramatic about it. I have a little sound, top center, visible during game. No, and yeah, that's all you got to do. What that's going to do is tell them what team they're on. You can do it for all the teams. All you got to do is, if we were to copy that, the cool part is we can keep the settings. All you got to do is change this text to "You are secret service," right? And then what we do is change that to team 2. That's literally all you got to do. And you can do that for assassins too. I've already created 2. Why not, right? You are the killer. Ooh, okay. I don't know why backspace. And then team 3, right? And that's it. That's it. This is your map. I know it looks really ugly right now, but you just know the mechanics now, so you can create your own little fancy map, and you've created a PTP map. You can have fun with your friends, you can make it go public, you can do whatever you want with it. And just to test it, I know I'm only going to be president, because that's just how it works, but if we wanted to test it out, look at that, we spawn here, and we're going to receive a message. You are the president. Wow, I am the president, right? So, yeah, I have the flag and everything. But if you notice something's off, right, I can't switch to my flag. That's because we made a mistake. So, I'm going to go back and fix something. So, I must have set to equip first item. We don't want that because the first item is the pickaxe. I'm dumb. So, don't equip. That should solve our problem, right? Yeah, there it is. So now that we have the flag, people can see on the map if you have the flag or not. We're the president currently, so we're not going to see ourselves. But yeah, that message flashes up saying you're the president. We can't switch to our pickaxe. We can't switch to any other weapons. We have 0 mats. Literally the most useless character in the entire map. Our goal is just to hide. Secret Service, if they existed in this, would protect us. Assassins would try to kill them and me. As you can see, that time limit's going off right there, 4:32, counting down. If it were to run out, the president would win. If I were to be killed, the assassins, or killers in this case, would win. But oof, I accidentally dropped that flag. I must have not turned off allow item drop. But that's a super simple fix. But anyways, that's it. So you created your first PTV map, and hopefully you can have fun with it with your friends, right? So thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. If you guys found this video useful, please leave a like and subscribe. If there's anything I could change, leave that in the comments down below. I'm completely open to constructive feedback. I actually would appreciate the constructive feedback because I know that this is my first ever video, so it might have been a little rough. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, have fun with it.